Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classics Known Classics. This is episode number 2478 and Doubleshot number 2372. Well, first up, basically, like in case the last one I did these things, is JLA and Teen Titans. First, start out with JLA Volume 4, which collects issues 32 to 46. And you're thinking, 32 to 46. Yes, this does contain the end of Grant Morrison's run for the book. Yep. Because we have Grant Morrison, Mark Waid, Jan DeMatteis, Dan Curtis Johnson, and Devin Grayson. Artwork by Howard Porter, Mark Bajero, Steve Scott. The cover art here is done by Howard Porter and Moose Botman. Yes, the first major storyline we have in here is basically JLA's trying to get involved with the whole No Man's Land stuff because it's 2000. And what was happening to DC Comics? Was the big thing happened to DC Comics 2000? Why, it was basically No Man's Land from Batman. Yeah, and of course they wanted to have Batman go after them. It is so hilarious. The fact that he wants and that's very much the opening issue here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically the first issue. It's Mark Waid and Devin Grayson is issue 32, and then we have dealing with the whole possibly do with Bruce Wayne going, of course, to go overseas in France, which is quite interesting. And then Grant Morrison comes back to the book to finish up his run, and we have sort of a escape attempt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also Orion gets a dog. Yep. After that silent issue, then began a Day of Judgment time with issue 35. And then 36 begins the story arc that pretty much wraps up the run for Grant Morrison. The thing is called World War III. There was also a miniseries released several years later called the same title, but completely unrelated. Mostly put, it's Grant Morrison basically bringing back the Injustice Gang, led by Lex Luthor. And members are the General, Prometheus, and Queen Bee. The General is Wade Eiling. Yep. Excuse me, yeah. He basically took the story for how he became the General, this big bulky thing looking very hairy. So what he did, apparently he found the body of one of the Shaggy Men on the ocean floor, brought it up. By the way, it's never explained how the heck basically he was able to find a Shaggy Man bottom of the ocean. In universe, this was never explained. And what does he do with the Shaggy Man? He shaves all of the hair because the fact apparently his body is dying, so he transfers his mind from his own body to the Shaggy Man, becomes the General. And he's like this up until the Flash reboot. And this is kind of how Grant Morrison ends his critical acclaim run, which ends with the death of Aztec, a creation of his who joined at the start of the run. Yep, by issue 41 we ended this critical acclaim run for Grant Morrison on JLA. He may not have done all the issues for JLA, but damn, the storyline was really good. It's just so sad, the fact that, Aztec got killed off in the story arc. Yeah, it's just so sad. Of course, Orion Big Bar to lead the team. Yeah, as for the reason why that Grant Morrison decided to kill off Aztec, I don't know the exact reason for it, but yeah, he got killed off here. Apparently Grant Morrison just didn't have any use for him anymore, so he decided to have him die. Because I know he got killed off in the story arc. Yeah, it was issue 41. They said I killed him off, which is Grant Morrison's final issue of the book. Yeah. Not sure why Morrison is for. And then here's, okay, so right after that, then we have a storyline with the Atom by Dan Curtis Johnson. And then we get, then pretty much issues 43 to 46. Okay, this story arc. Okay, what is the story arc for issues 43 to 46? It is known as Tower of Babel. It is one of the most infamous Just Like storylines of all time. And this storyline was basically led the groundwork for Identity Crisis a few years later. Because it is revealed, okay, so Ra's al Ghul has hired Mirror Master to break into the Batcave to steal the files on the Justice League. Yes. You with me now? And you're thinking, wait, this storyline sounds familiar. Was this adapted for a movie? Yes, it was. Justice League Doom. Except Cyborg was included in the movie because, well, DC apparently wanted to push Cyborg, and just like remember the fact he was not part of just like the original story. Yep. Yeah, and by the way, in that movie with Vandal Savage, here it's Ra's al Ghul. Now, Vandal Savage made a lot more sense than Ra's. Excuse me. And sadly put, this storyline was more associated with Batman than it is with Justice League, despite like being a Justice League story arc. Sadly put, at the end of the story arc, when the story arc wraps up, after finding out, that the Justice League has been attacked, and apparently it's him, and the fact that they take on Ra's in the story. So, basically, Batman resigns to the team. And he's off team for a little while. He does come back for quite a while for the team. But it's a very good storyline. It's only 4 issues. Yeah, that's interesting about this one. It's only just a few issues. So yeah, Marshmallow's in the story. He basically gets burned. I believe in the movie they had it where his brother shows up and tries to pose as a woman. Yes. And he's working with Ra's. Of course, Tally isn't here, along with Ubu. Oh, by the way, the lineup for these issues is quite interesting for Justice League. It's Batman, Superman, Wally West, Kyle Rayner, Wonder Woman, Plastic Man. Yes, Plastic Man's here. Which, by the way, he was not included in the movie adaptation for some strange reason. I don't know why, but he wasn't. But this story arc is really good. You have the cover, basically, of issue 45. They basically speak in gibberish. Which, the whole thing of Tower of Babel. And it concludes with 45. Or 46, excuse me. But yeah, damn good story arc. Yeah. And the whole thing is basically Justice League is upset the fact that Batman had files on them. There were contingency plans. Now, here's the thing. Prior to this, there was no mention of these files at all. They were specifically created for this story. And because of this, we now know about these files. Readers know about these things. And I, of course, wasn't reading at the time when these issues came out. I did read it later. And I had heard about this story arc. I read it. I read it later. I thought it was really good, and still really good stuff here. The writers, not a bad issue in this bunch of issues collecting this trade here. I get this book a 9.5 out of 10. Yep. So now here's the thing. I have 4 more trades of this to go, and then I'll be done with JLA. Now, I will be doing sort of a side thing, of course, to continue reading Teen Titans along with this, where I'm going to discuss the annuals. Yes, I'm going to discuss the annuals separately because they apparently are not collected in trade. Despite the fact, for some reason, the solicitor for January has it where they have Volume 1 come out again, but they collect like a bunch of mini-series and like the annual. I'll discuss it later at some point. So, with this, we'll discuss. Next point, we're discussing Teen Titans Volume 5. Yeah, Teen Titans Volume 5. Come on, seriously. Thank you. Volume 5, Life and Death. But here's the thing about this trade. There are some issues I'm not going to discuss here. I'm not going to discuss issues 29 to 31 because I've discussed already as part of Teen Titans by Jeff Johns Book 3. But first, before I discuss the issues collected in the trade, I also collected Tuition Infinite Crisis 5 and 6. Probably collecting the pages that features the Teen Titans in that storyline. So first, we're discussing two issues that, to my knowledge, there is no trade that collects these things. Yeah, none. Don't know the reason why these issues are not in the collected trade. You would think that, what they collected in Teen Titans by Jeff Johns? Nope. DC, once again, skipped these issues. '27 and 28. Okay, now, for what I've heard about these two issues, now I've read these issues, they're not bad per se, it's just that, okay, the creative team behind these two issues is Gail Simone and Rob Liefeld. And despite being called Teen Titans, it's more of a Hawk and Dove story. Yeah, I don't know the reason why they said make a Hawk and Dove story, but they did. I have heard the reason why that these issues basically have to come out basically with these guest writers. Because Jeff Johns was going to write at this point in time, from what I heard. And the reason why that they did this, because he was busy working on Infinite Crisis, but they didn't have the books come on time. So, my guess is, from what I've heard, Rob Liefeld did want to do Teen Titans, but DC didn't trust him, so they put Gail Simone with them. So, the story of these two issues basically just involves, like, rich people getting involved with basically Hawk and Dove villains. I mean, the best way to describe these two issues is basically Hawk and Dove guest star in the Teen Titans. That's literally what these issues are. And it's Rob Liefeld get a chance to draw Dove again, a character he personally created. He created Dove. And he thought it was really good. Heck, the main villain of the story is called Quetzal, which I'm sure is probably basically an in-name only reference to one of Dove's creators, Carl Ketzler. I think the name is sort of an anagram of that. Which I think it's actually really neat. That's just my personal anyways. It's a very weird story arc per se, but not bad. Though it's standard Rob Liefeld fare. Yeah. I'm going to give these issues a... I'm going to be fair, give it 8.5 out of 10. Next up, we're talking about issues 32 and 33. The Infinite Crisis tie-ins. Jeff Johns writes the issues. Tony S. Daniel does the artwork. Yeah, mostly put from the other Titans not featured in Infinite Crisis. Is mostly put what they were up to during the whole thing. Or mostly put just involves like... Mostly involves like guest appearance by the Doom Patrol. Yeah, they're here. I believe these issues sort of basically introduction to a new Doom Patrol. If I remember correctly, I think that's basically what these issues are. Because Doom Patrol guest stars in this issue as sort of a reintroduction of them. Though they kill off 3 people in this issue. Well, Bushido, Panther, and Wild Beast killed. They probably sort of basically like... Bushido, he got killed off. Now, yeah, these 3 characters actually killed off during the events of Infinite Crisis. It's mostly put just expansion on what goes on there. And then like 33 is Superboy and Wonder Girl taking on Alexander Luthor and the Psycho Pirate. Mostly put for the Teen Titans, it's mostly filling in some gaps that basically we're doing off screen the main event. That's most of the issues are. The trade also includes 2 issues of Robin, which that kind of serve the same purpose, just expands upon what he was doing in Infinite Crisis. The annual, which collecting the trade here, is quite interesting. This is a focus on the relationship of Wonder Girl and Superboy, where it involves a scene where Superboy and Wonder Girl go to the Kent family farm. They go into the barn, and they have sex. Yep, they have sex. because they love each other. So this whole annual is about exploration of the relationship. That's mostly what this annual is. That's mostly what it does. That's all it's there for, is to explore the relationship. And keep this annual came out in 2006. Yeah. Yeah, it's written by Jeff Johns and Marv Wolfman. Yep. Artwork by Ed Baines, Dale Ingersam, Tom Greenberg, and Elton Resimo. The annual itself is actually pretty good. It has guest stars from Main Teen Titans book, which were Beast Boy, Raven, Robin, Speedy. Of course, the guest appearance also by Dr. Light, Black Lightning, Elastigirl, Green Arrow, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Loose Cannon, Metamorpho, Mr. Miracle, Nightwing, Plastic Man, Skyrocket. Thinking, who the heck is Skyrocket? He's from Power Company. There's also Sparks. She was a member of, she debuted part of the Bloodline storyline from the 90s. Yeah, and she was part of Blood Pack. Superman, Wildcat, the Metalman. The bad guys this annual are Bolt, the Cheetah, Chemical, Jinx, Lex Luthor, Monmouth, Simon, Shimmer, Superboy Prime, the Wizard. Okay, you're probably thinking, who the heck is Bolt? He is, well, he's a character from Blue Devil. He is not that known villain per se. Apparently he's got a son who is known as Dreadbolt. Which I think this character was adapted for Arrow. Yes. Simply put, Bolt, the best way to describe him is kind of in-universe, basically, version of Electro. That's most what Bolt is. Yes, as for Simon, Shimmer, Monmouth, Jinx, Fatal 5, obviously. Chemico, longtime, basically, member, enemy of Middlemen. I mean, who does not know who Lex Luthor is, or Cheetah? The Wizard. No, not Marvel's Wizard. The Wizard is an old JSA villain. Who just by sheer coincidence happened to guest star in this annual. And you probably would think, is this the only time appear in Teen Titans? Yes. It was a quick guest star appearance, but I thought the annual itself was really good. I love the artwork for this thing. Great explanation of relationship between Wonder Girl and Superboy. I give the annual itself a 9 out of 10. Along with basically the 2 Teen Titans issues and the Robin issues. Yep, the Robin issues are written by Bill Willingham. Yeah. Believe it or not, he actually had a run for Robin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a quick 2-part storyline, basically just detailing what Robin was up to. Mm-hmm. We have Bill Willingham and Bill Williams. Now you're probably thinking, Bill Willingham. Oh yeah, the guy who created Fables. Yes. Now, yeah, he had a run for Robin. I think he took over with issue, I think it was like 121. Though his artist basically... Okay, so he took over 121. He was on the book until 140. So these 2 issues were his last 2 issues he worked on the book. Though I wasn't a fan of some of the some of the artists he chose for the book. Well, the reason why, because it looked very kiddish. That's the problem I had with it. It felt like basically like a drawing. It felt like one of the artists working on his run. I described sort of it's like a kid's drawing. But yeah, good issues altogether. So that's pretty much it, particular review. Next up is going to be, well, Bleach. But that's going to happen for a little bit. Okay, next video. Bye.